Genshin Impact takes you travelling across the world of Teyvat and through all of its regions. So far though, we've only been exposed to the regions of Mondstadt and Liyue, which are only two of the future 7 that are eventually gonna come. However, we do know the next region in line, along with a leaked release date of June this year. And bear in mind that this update's going to add an entire new region to the game, which will include all new characters, quests, bosses and locations. So here's everything that you'll need to know about Inazuma. All the regions of Teyvat are governed over by one of the 7 Archons, and therefore each region is representative of a different elemental power. So far we've seen the Anemo and the Geo regions, and the next in line is Electro. As per usual, we can expect to see the Traveller being able to resonate with the statues in Inazuma, and then being able to use Electro skills. This will obviously mean all new attacks for the Traveller, but they probably won't be as good as other Electro characters in the game. We also know what real-world country Inazuma is going to be based on. If you didn't know, Mondstadt is based roughly on Germany and Liyue on China. So Inazuma is going to be based on Japan, which is fitting considering it's going to be an island nation. The fact that it's an island also raises the question on how the Traveller will get there, but since it borders Liyue by sea, I suspect that you'll probably be able to take a ship over from Liyue harbour. But who knows, they could be mean and make you create an ice path over. I mean, hey, they've done that before. But let's get to the map of the region now. So this leaked map shows that there are going to be 3 main islands, plus a couple of extra small ones, and that the main city is going to be on the biggest island. Since this is only a map, we can't see what the terrain is going to be like, though we can probably expect to see some sort of mountain area, seeing as it's based on Japan, which is well known for its mountains. As for the main city, it's probably going to be more like Liyue than Mondstadt, but obviously the architecture will be different so that it suits the Japanese style. But of course, with every new region there are going to be new characters as well, and we've already seen this leaked image for 8 new characters. So the first one is obviously Hu Tao, who's already been added to the game, but the others are going to be new. But this leak is actually kind of misleading, because only 3 of them are actually from Inazuma. The others are either from Liyue or Mondstadt, but just haven't been released yet. So in reality, only these 3 are actually from Inazuma. So from left to right, we've got Mimi, who's a Hydro Catalyst user, then we've got Sayu, who's an Anemo Claymore, and then Kazuha, who's an Anemo Sword. Unfortunately, there haven't been any leaked Electro users yet, because so far we've had all of the Archons become playable characters, but since there aren't any new Electro users that we've seen from Inazuma, we can't make any predictions on who this Archon's gonna be. Now, there was actually this leaked image which people thought could be the new Archon, but this picture is actually from the game Honkai Impact 3rd, not actually from Genshin Impact. But the art style is pretty much identical though, so it's an easy mistake to make. But let's go into a bit more depth about this Archon. So we've already established that it's the Electro Archon, but we also know that she'll be the first female Archon. Her actual name is going to be Baal, but kinda like how Morax is also known as Rex Lapis to the people of Liyue, Baal is going to be known as the Raiden Shogun. Raiden meaning lightning or thunder and lightning in Japanese. Now we know from dialogue from Zhongli that Baal is seizing all of the Electro-visions in Inazuma to be laid on the statue of the 1,000-armed, 100-eyed god. However, we also know from dialogue that this hunt for visions only started about a year ago, and so there's also the mystery about what caused her to change her mind and take back all of the visions that she gave. As for her personality, she appears to be pretty self-centered. According to Zhongli, she claims to be the Archon that is nearest unto heaven, seeing as she's the god of eternity. So we can also assume that, unlike Barbatos and Morax, she won't hide her physical form, seeing as she's enforcing this ban of visions. A lot like how the Tsaritsa plays a big part in the ruling of her region, Baal will probably be around a lot. so we can assume that we'll see her in a human form multiple times throughout the story, not like the other two Archons who don't show who they are until very late in the plot. So we've talked about the map and the characters so far, but what can we expect to see from the story and the quests? Honestly, we don't have much information about that yet. Of course, we know that Baal is seizing all of the visions, and so most of the plot is probably going to revolve around that. But it does still give quite a lot of questions, like why she's suddenly decided to start doing this, and how some characters still have their visions. Since there are obviously still going to be playable characters from Inazuma, they may be forced to be in hiding in order to keep their visions safe. We may also see Baal try to seize a vision from the Traveller, whereas we know that they don't actually have a vision. And so the Traveller's ability to use the powers of the Archons despite not having a vision is probably going to, for lack of a better term, upset the Raiden Shogun. So therefore we can probably expect to see the Traveller and the other vision holders in hiding, and possibly starting some kind of revolution against Baal, but it may turn out that they just somehow change her mind. Though personally I would love to see some kind of uprising, because mortals versus a god would be really cool to see. But we might also know a little bit more about the plot. You see, the final Archon quest we've seen so far is a prequel to the Inazuma chapter, and in it we get to meet a new character known as Dainsleif. He's pretty mysterious in-game, but the chapter ends with you finding a clue about where your sibling is, so we might see a bit more of the search for your sibling when the Traveller goes to Inazuma. As for what that will entail, I honestly have no clue. But seeing as that's how the prequel ends, we might be able to see it explored in a greater depth once we actually go to the new region. But going back to this Dainsleif guy, it turns out we probably won't see much of him anytime soon, because Dainsleif is from Kynria, like the Traveller, so we don't actually know what element he'll wield. Since the Traveller got their powers taken from them, they used the elements from Teyvat. But we don't know what Dainsleif is going to use. He could be like the Traveller and have all of the elements at his disposal, or he could introduce a brand new element possibly. But we've gone off topic, so we'll get into this more in another video. That about wraps up what we can expect to see from Inazuma. Obviously, we're still in the dark about loads of this stuff, but I really searched hard to find everything that I could. If you want to learn more about the other regions and the characters, feel free to subscribe for later videos down the line, but that about wraps up this one.